I'm Shirley, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about my channel and the purpose of the videos. Um, the main purpose and the main point of these videos is to help people learn economical ways to keep fish or any aquatic creature through things like DIY projects, budget options where aquarium options are probably more expensive. There are other options. Things like that that will really help be able to circumvent the costs, or at least put it down a little. I'm not the end-all be-all. I'm not the professional. I don't know everything. I haven't studied this. I'm certainly not a comprehensive guide to fish keeping. This is something that you learn as you go. And I want to give people a chance to learn from my mistakes instead of having to go and repeat the same ones over and over for themselves. So now these things will be mostly things that I've tried and they've worked for me. Or maybe I'll show you some things that I've tried that haven't worked for me. But either way, it will be things I know about. Now, some things I will show you that we will do together. Like if I need to build something or do a DIY project that I've never done before, I will show you from start to finish, what I'm doing. Now, there may be better ways. There are tons of different ways to do things in this hobby, a billion. And there's no one right way. And there might even be better ways than the ones I've got. But I'm just wanting to show you what has worked for me and the things that help me succeed. And they could work for you too. Now, in these videos, I will show you how I do most of these things, especially my DIY videos. I will take you step by step through the process as I do it and share with you how I've been successful, come clean about all the mistakes and all the failures. I'll also give you info, tricks, tips, things I've learned to help make this hobby a little easier and hopefully a lot more affordable. Now, to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a single mom of a teenage daughter, and if anybody's ever had teenagers, you know how that goes. If you've never had a teenager, believe me, you think you know, but you don't. So, but I'm also on a fixed income, and it's obviously not very high. So, as you can imagine, I am broke 100% of the time. So, how do I afford this hobby? That's what you're asking. I know you are. If I'm so broke, how can I afford this expensive hobby? To be honest, I can't. I'm drowning here. This stuff is killing me. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding. But it really can be difficult sometimes. But I've learned through doing DIY projects that, of course that's cheaper and, less expensive. Getting budget items. There are options out there that aren't exactly made for aquariums that work just as well as aquarium made products, and they're half or less the cost. So, I've even managed to get lots of free things like tanks and accessories, stuff like that. Of course, anything to cure this insatiable hunger of multi-tank syndrome. It's a disease, I promise. There's nothing you can do to help it. Now, so far, I've got, I believe, 14 tanks up, just set up. I also have 5 tanks that are waiting in the wings, and 3 that I may be getting at some point. They might be coming. Now, I do breed fish, but I'm not a professional. It's on a minor level. It's just small time, and it's basically just to supplement the hobby. It's one of my favorite ways. It totally beats out budgeting, and it totally beats out DIY projects, although those are pretty satisfying too. But to see your fish be born and then watch them grow and then give them a good home, it's just really satisfying. So that's one of my favorite things, and that's something we'll talk about in another video too, a few hints and tricks to do that. My purpose though in these videos and this channel is to give you the information you need to help you enter or continue this hobby, just so you don't have any barriers, no matter what your budget is. I firmly believe that everyone should have the opportunity to take part in the hobbies they love, the things that fascinate them and keep their attention. And I do not believe money should be a prohibitive factor. It's everybody deserves to have something they love. So that being said, I'm going to show you some of my tanks. Let's start over here. This is my first planted and dirty tank. Also my first bigger tank, and the first one I actually paid for. The other ones were all free. Now I got it at one of the Petco sales. I believe it's like half off or something. Now it used to be $1 a gallon, but now it's a half off, I believe. Now there are a lot of firsts with this tank. Now I do want to say I do dirted tanks for the cost. For it's completely much more economical than using an activated substrate or continuously buying root tabs. And I do that for cost, not because I follow anyone's methods or trying to build some full-fledged, encased, contained, self-contained, and replicating ecosystem. I mean, yes, I do want my tanks to be pretty, natural, and well-maintained, but my budget is always first priority. It's gotta be. I mean, what's the point in having fish if you can't even feed them? Or having tanks that you can't even equip or fill with livestock? So, as I was saying, this is my first real attempt at a escaped or planted tank. My first tank was a 5.5 gallon I rescued from my neighbor. That's what started this whole mess. Then we quickly found out it was much too small for the fish that came with it. And there were way too many fish in that tank. So I quickly upgraded to a 20 long I found for free on Facebook Marketplace. That lasted for about 4 or 5 months until I got bit by this bug and got this 55 gallon. This tank houses white skirt tetras, black skirt tetras, Colombian tetras, queen loaches, and albino corridoras. As you can see, it is completely infested with pest snails. That's a story for another video though. This tank had quite a few more fish, probably bordering, well maybe not probably, it's bordering on overstocked. Then I made the stupidest mistake. I got careless and I got excited about a new fish, and instead of putting it in a quarantine, I just acclimated it and threw it straight in the tank. A few days later, bacterial hemorrhagic septicemia and epistolis had broken out. 2 weeks, I lost about half of my fish before I got it under control. We've now recovered, thankfully, from that, and we've learned our lesson. For sure. Always, we are definitely going to quarantine. My second 55 gallon. It houses a group of 4 young electric blue cars, not quite a year old yet, 4 mature albino bristlenose plecos, that's my breeding group, and a pandagara, which is just there because I like them. This was one of my free tanks. I brought it home and it looked to be in good shape. Of course, after I got it home, I attempted a 24-hour leak test. It started leaking right away, which it's bad that it leaked, but it's really good that it leaked right away, so we didn't have to waste a lot of time with that 24-hour leak test. We already knew it leaked. So I had some aquarium silicone that I had bought for when the 20 long that I got for free started leaking, and I had already did a lot of watching YouTube and, well, mostly YouTube, and I learned how to reseal a tank that way. So I resealed it, and it turned out great. Now all the wood and rocks in here, all the decor, were harvested from my area, from the woods, the beach, just anywhere we found stuff that we liked. Now the stand it's on is another DIY project. It's so much cheaper than buying a made stand. And it's really cool because you don't need any real tools like saws and such. You can just have the wood cut wherever you buy it at. And of course, carpentry or woodworking skills, completely unnecessary. But again, that's for another video. This is one of my in-progress tanks. It's 4 gallons, and as you can see, it's also dirted. It's pretty much all put together, but I'm cycling and maturing it for Neocaridina shrimp. So it's going to be a little while before I add it to them. I want to make sure it's got all the biofilm and algae and stuff growing up in it. I do have a single ram's horn snail in there. On purpose, of course. That's not the, by accident. But I'm using it to help cycle the tank. However, this tank is not immune to the pest smell problem. I pick out several super tiny babies, like that one right there, every day. Several of them. But I'm stubborn. I will keep pulling them out until they are gone, or I die from exhaustion. Okay, and over here, this is a 20-gallon long that I believe I bought from another Petco sale. You know, I've not paid full price for a single one of my tanks. Either on sale or free. That's how I've always got them. This one is a dirted tank as well. That's pretty much my MO. I also use budget blasting sand instead of aquarium sand. It's so much cheaper, like seriously, pennies on the dollar compared. But I'll get into all that and explain it all in a video about dirty tanks and budget substrates. Now this tank holds Harlequin rasboras, Corydoras habrosus, which are dwarf cories, 2 albino juvenile plecos that I may or may not keep as they're spawned from my breeding group, and temporarily a school of fairly well sought after and newer Kalitawa rainbow fish. I hope to breed them at some point, as long as of course I've got boys and girls, and hopefully I will be expecting to upgrade the rainbow fish to a new and bigger tank soon. Here's probably my most unremarkable and not so pretty tank, but at the same time I'm pretty proud of it. It's my brine shrimp grow out tank. I tried to raise brine shrimp from the cyst so many times, and it didn't matter what I did or how hard I tried, I just kept killing the culture. One stupid mistake after another. Honestly though, there's not a lot of detailed info out there on how to raise brine shrimp. Now, how to hatch baby brine shrimp, yes, lots of those. But raising them into a colony that will reproduce and you can feed from, no, there's not a lot of detailed information on that process. So it was basically just trial and error. It actually took me forgetting the tank for a couple of weeks in order to have them grow. So that was just a prime example of leave it alone and let it be. But now I've got them swimming around. This is the newest tank I've put up. Actually, to be clear, my 14-year-old daughter set it up with minimal assistance from me. Now this too, of course, is a dirted tank, and it was put together with things we already had, you know, budget options. Leftover rocks and decor, plant clippings from other tanks, etc. This houses some juveniles I intend to breed. There are 6 juvenile Fundulopanchex gardneri killifish growing out in there. Although one is much older and already matured as she was from a previous batch. This tank also contains a pair of juvenile long-fin green dragon bristlenose plecos. I am not sure yet if I've got a breeding pair or if I've got a pair of one sex or the others. Fingers crossed I lucked out with a breeding pair, because it would really suck if I had to buy more juveniles and wait for them to grow out as well in order to get a breeding pair. The breeding pair, because it would really suck if I had to buy more juveniles and wait for them to grow out as well in order to get a breeding pair. This is our little boy Betta, named Shadow, named by my daughter. He's mostly hers, of course, but she insists that he's mine too, which is why she put him in my room. And of course, this is another dirty tank done with what we had laying around. If you look at the cave, that's what she's most proud of. She made that, and he seems to really love it. This is my 40-gallon breeder, cold water tank. There's not a heater in it, and my house stays pretty cold because I cannot stand the heat. The tanks easily go down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit sometimes. This tank houses white cloud mountain minnows, both golden standard colors. No long fins yet, but I'm hoping to get some soon. As well as reticulated hillstream loaches. Now they're in the 21 quarantine that I didn't show you guys. There are 3 more reticulated hillstream loaches waiting, and they're going to stay there for about 30 days. And when their quarantine's over, they're going in this tank. Females, I got at least 1 female because they all look like boys to me. And now people keep telling me there's a female, but I can't see it. And like I said, it would really suck to have to buy extras just to get some to breed. And I would love to breed these guys as well. I can't really do that with all boys. The rest of my tanks, which I didn't show you, are my grow out tanks for my fry and my quarantine tanks. Now, that's pretty much all there is to tell. If you have any questions, comments, ideas, anything you want to see, stuff like that, comment it down below. And believe me, there's nobody really watching this channel right now, so I can probably get to everybody if you comment. Also, if you like this sort of stuff, be sure to subscribe so you can stay ahead of the game and know what's coming out before, well, probably before I do, because I don't pay attention. If you don't, I do things a lot where I really embarrass myself, and would it not suck for you to miss me embarrassing myself? I mean, I'm so good at it, but you know, I would be YouTube famous if I caught it on camera. For all the wrong reasons, of course. And you'd be seriously disappointed. Now, I want you to like, share, comment, all that stuff. You know what? You know all that. I know you do. So, and you're going to do it or not, whether you decide to or not. And nothing I'm going to say is going to change that. So, you know, I feel like you've got this. But now, if you've got friends that could use the tips, that are having trouble affording the hobby, or just have a tight budget, or they're just miserly and want to save money, share with them. Share with them. But now, I will say, don't refer them to me. Because I am a hot mess, and I am no business, none, giving people advice. None. I'm just kidding. Seriously though, if you have a friend or something that needs the help, or know somebody, share with them, show them to them. I really love helping people, and I can't do that if nobody knows what I'm doing. So, do your thing, enjoy your day, stay weird, and don't forget to roll those sleeves up. Peace out.